Hello friends, it's Barbara Sue at Kowalski Mountain. Welcome back. So this weekend we had a guest come visit our apiary, and she is learning about bees so that she can start her own apiary. Now when it comes to beekeeping, beekeepers have many different reasons that they might be keeping bees in their apiary. One of the most obvious reasons to you might be to produce honey. Some apiaries, that is their focus for honey production, and that's what they grow their apiary to do. Some beekeepers focus on beeswax. People who are interested in creating cosmetics or salves or maybe even candles are interested in collecting beeswax from the bees. Some beekeepers keep bees for the purpose of pollination. When I was a little girl growing up here in Florida, you could see the beehives back in the groves. And I always thought that the orange blossom honey was kind of a byproduct of the orange grove. As I got older, I realized that the grove owners actually pay to have the bees come in to pollinate the orange groves, because without the bees, there is no oranges. Now, the other type of focus that an apiary might have is in producing bees. And that is the focus that Philip has here in our apiary, is that he wants to grow and make splits and create more bee colonies and focus on selling those to other beekeepers to grow their own colonies. Now, the one thing with beekeeping is that even though each apiary has a focus, they still cross over into all the areas. Even though we are focused on creating new colonies and creating more beehives, we still enjoy the benefits of the honey and also the beeswax and the pollination right here in our farm. So this weekend we had a guest come to our apiary. Her name is Helena, and I was actually pretty impressed with the knowledge that she brought with her. She grew up learning about bees in 4-H and had a really good basis of information. So in the video that's going to follow, Philip spends time with her, giving her some hands-on training so that she can be prepared to take her own bees home and start her own apiary. So let's pop in and see how they're doing.
Off of it, and then they do all of this down below.
Okay.
Now all of this, because it's discolored, it's darker, these bees have been everywhere. This came out of a tree. I can even show you the video on our website from which tree it actually came from. A lot of pesticides, a lot of different things that they come in contact with. So I'll set this stuff on the outside here, set that in the slot.
Okay, so you just hang it like it hangs in the pie.
And just put, and remember the order that you put them in.
Try to put it back in the
People
spot.
will say, put it back the same way. It's kind of like someone coming in your house and rearranging your house.
Okay.
I look at it as though, yes, that's true. I support that. However, if my frames are building up more on one side than the other, I kind of want to manipulate that to my favor.
So build it up on both sides.
I want it, yeah. So I'm going to change it up. I might even move it to a totally different location. Now, look at how clean that comb is. That was full of honey when I put it in going into the winter. Okay? So, and that's capped. That's capped honey, and you'll want to know the difference of that little wax beetle right there. So when I see something like that, I try to get as many as I can. You know what? I'm just going to squish the hooker. Go fix the wax. He's dead.
Yeah, and then he doesn't get it.
Yep. You're going to find them hiding up along the edges, down inside the frame. So I'm going to separate. I'm going to put this one here. Now you saw what I did to get it out, right? Okay. You're up.
So you want me just to lift it out?
Well, is it broken apart? Remember, I just moved them over. If it's not broken apart, you can use that tool. You can use this tool. Another easy way to do that one. Just go like this.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
And
let you take. Now you can use that J hook, or you could just grab it and go. If it's loose, I just grab and go. And you'll get in the habit of, okay, I grabbed it left hand all the way forward every single time. So what you're looking for is there a bunch of honey in there? Are there any eggs in there? Are there any resources in there? You can see the pollen. See the pollen on the outside? And then you have the nectar in there. No capped honey on that. They've used it all up. They've capped up all that too. Capped it out. None of that. Another beetle. So I will squish that thing. They'll
Is there
fix
certain
it.
times of the year that you see them more than others?
Yes. I've found going into the winter, I found them a lot heavier, and then going into spring. During the summer, if you had them in a shade area, then you'd probably see them more often there too. So go ahead and put that one in and move it down, and let's get the next one. Now you see how there's propolis built up on the edges down here too? Mm-hmm. Part of my inspection, and I'm going to give you a sheet that you can go by now. If you leave a gap, you're going to keep cutting down your space to work. Okay. So keep it all the way over. So this here, pop it, and I actually sharpen these to make them work to my favor. And I just pop that off, and it's off. Okay. So that way I can
slide it easier.
Yes. And then what you see here, this is all wax. I pop that off here. If you also look down this edge, there's a lot of propolis right there too. Mm-hmm. Take it. I throw it either in my jar or I throw it as far away as possible. A lot of times this stuff, the bees are in the way. Push them away. Push it off. Flip it out of here. Get it as far away from your area as possible. So go ahead and take a few more frames. I think we'll come all the way up to here checking them out.
So you're saying just do like this?
Nope. Turn your hook this way.
Turn it that way.
Yep.
Okay. More lever.
There you go. And you can set the tool down. Just never want to drop it if you need it again. Then it's full of sand. So inspecting the frames. Look, there's a bunch of honey over here. Still trying to build it out. It looks like that they're trying to start a brood pattern. You know, open it up to where all the resources are on the outside, but not quite.
So why they're like
always
around the perimeter?
Yep. And look, you got some burr comb that's starting. So
okay.
Let me show you how to take that off. Just flip it over the other way. Look at the other side. Make sure we don't have the queen. Oh, there's the queen.
Oh, I see her.
All right. So that's why I mark her. So now, what I would do is
you got a cage, right?
I make sure that I don't hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just set her down.
Do you worry about the other ones that get caught inside
Nope.
with her?
They can get out.
Oh, okay.
But she's safe, and I won't worry about hurting her. I've actually been here trying to take pictures, and all of a sudden, oh wait, I got something else to show you on that same frame. See if you can find it. And the queen jumps off. So is there something out of our discussion that comes out to you on this frame?
The bottom part, there's the cell there.
Let me hold the frame
one.
and you tell me, what is that?
Well, being it's on the bottom, you said the swarm ones are on the bottom.
There you go. So, is there anything inside there? Any
empty.
egg?
No, it's hill.
It's not. So you know what? This box is pretty full, and I'm about to expand. I don't want her to swarm. So I'm going to take that right off, and let's take our chances. And then this here, you see how I'm supporting it here?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not shaking the bees up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of working it. Let's just take that burr comb right off. Let's get it back to them so they can put that wax somewhere else to good use. Okay?
Okay.
So I took that from you this way. I'm going to give it back to you and put it in the box that direction. So now, we know she's up here.
Mm-hmm.
Told you it was real busy in here, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
So I bet you we're going to see some brood
More.
in the next couple. So go ahead and let's pull them out and see what you got. You can go right here. Yep. These are trying to get just a little. A lot of times I'll leave this thing in the direction the wind is coming from, so the wax, the smoke just. And you got some on there. See, look at all that's brood. Isn't that nice? And what are these?
Those look like the same as before, but they're capped.
No, there's a little difference to them. That would be a drone. These are drones. These are actually the regular cap cells.
Okay.
The brood.
So what's the difference between that one and the queen one we just scraped
These
up?
are male. All the rest are female.
Okay.
Okay. So when I pick up this, I always make sure I don't flip my fingers back. Careful. I'll let you know when I got it. Okay, I got it. So when I pull this thing out, I sit here and I pick it up, and now I'm looking at it through my magnifying glass. I want to make sure if I see any mites, I got some major issues. So I'm sitting here looking, see the pollen on the feet?
Okay, yeah.
Now if I want to see below, I can do like that and then move.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking, make sure I don't have any mite issues. Now I'm also, I can actually, if I have a burr comb on the bottom that has drone, I can break that apart and see if there's any mites actually on the larvae. So look, there's the larvae. They haven't capped that one off yet. Down in there, see it?
Oh, I see.
They
It's like a
haven't
little
capped
worm.
it yet. Yep. So I'm looking, I want to make sure I see everything looks good. I don't see any other issues. Now, see, this one hasn't been capped. See the larvae in here?
Okay.
Now I can shake this off. Now, remember what you were telling me? We disturb it or do this or do that, it prolongs their productivity. It
Yeah.
will. So if I were to shake these off, then them to go back to doing their job, yeah, it's going to prolong it. I have witnessed that. I don't like this to create because it just starts more burr comb. So I just take it off and try to keep it clean. So that's a pretty nice brood pattern right there. And then the next one's the same way. But you're about to see when they don't draw out the whole comb. Ah, can you smell that?
Yeah.
Smell the wax and the honey?
Mm-hmm.
I can come out here on a hot day, walk around the corner, and I can smell that. So go ahead and let me pop it. You take the next one. Oh, I wanted to show you something. Let me tell you what. I'm going to hand it off to you. So I pick it up, and I look at it all one way. And you see how they didn't draw it out? But you see how it's warped now? Kind of crazy. And then sometimes this I have to chip away because it's making too much of a gap. So I actually have to scrape that off. So if they don't draw that out, sometimes I'll pull this out when they're done and cleaned it up. I'll take this out, and I have to take that wax foundation out. Use my heat my knife up with the torch, and I'll smooth off the edge because it's too long. It's just bowing in there, and then I'll put it back in there because otherwise they develop one side deeper than the other.
Okay.
So I'll hold this thing up, I'll look at it, check it out, and I'm usually facing like this because I want the sun to look right down into the eggs. I want to be able to see, and that's what I wanted to point out for you right now. See if I can find some eggs.
Don't they look like little white dots? Because I know
So
she
these
used the
are all-
black ones so that so you can see it better.
Yes, exactly. These are all capped.
Okay.
So I'm going to stick that back in there. And I try to use my fingers to pry and not just grab and go because you find you have to shake it. Alright, so in here, if you look, they've kind of cleaned it all out. There's no eggs in there unless you see one. Up in here, they're starting to start up the queen cells. That could have been a drone. So, take the opportunity when you can. Check it out. I don't see any mites. So if you're going to destroy something, take that chance to do an inspection rather than go back through and do a separate check and see if there's anything there. So right now that sun is shining right straight down in the middle for me to actually see. So all I'm seeing, grab this so you can see. All I'm seeing, like right in there, you see some eggs that are probably 7-8 days old, something like that. They're pretty developed, that larvae.
Okay.
Okay? I want to try to find some just solid eggs though. So I got some of these bees being a little pissy. So I'm just going to, they're pretty calm too. See the one around my face though?
Yeah.
I'll smoke it. Push them away. Let me take this. You can go ahead and pull the next one. Tell me if you see any. You might need that. It might be stuck. Careful when setting it flat because there's bees on the bottom. You want to set it on the corner. Or set it on the edge like this so there's less point of contact, and then re-grab it, make sure you have it. And I do have one of those handles, so you can experiment with that. When I tried to grab it and then you try to rearrange it, that's when I dropped it. So look at all that pollen and all that nectar on the outside. So all this was all capped.
That middle one in the center, that's a drone?
What, this right here? Oops.
bo-
This?
Yeah.
That's a superseder cell.
That's just,
Yep.
okay.
Now your drones, I'm going to look.
'Cause you were
see if I
saying
can-
in the
They are
middle.
bigger.
So they're bigger than that.
Drones are bigger.
Too big.
And those cells that you were looking at on the bottom, the drones themselves are bigger. So we have that. That's, see, and I wanted to get you guys over here to do this because I don't want these guys to swarm. So I'm going to have to do splits real fast.
Now, I was told that if you add additional layers to it, you can keep them from swarming. Does that work for you?
Yeah, you're giving them room.
So pretty much if you just keep expanding it taller and taller, you will prevent it to a point.
To a point. To a point. Knowing your bees is the most important. Because you'll know whether or not they're going to swarm. Like these are all pretty cleaned out on this side. And you can blow on them too. And they'll move. Nothing but a bunch of nectar and clean cells. So she's about to lay up in there. Hasn't yet. So now that I know she's moved up, now this thing's a little tricky to get out. But got honey all over everything. Can you hear them?
Mm-hmm. It's different now.
And it's changing it. So here we should have a bunch of beetles in there. I probably need to add a little bit more fluid in there. So before I close this up, let me make sure that I put some more in that.
You just stick that in between.
I just move it down to the other side, make sure I don't trap, which I usually do, like I did.
Yeah. So you got one.
Yeah. I'd love to find a drone in here too. You see
Now,
one
aren't the
big one?
drones bigger? That's what I
Oh,
was looking
yeah.
for, is like bigger.
I got one on the inside of my left thumb. Not a drone, but a bee. Could feel it. She's coming. All right, so you see how this comb came out?
Mm-hmm.
You might get a foundation, but they start to build it up, and all of a sudden there's like a cave in there.
Okay.
If it's not attached to the foundation, break it off, chip it away, put it in your bucket, melt it down, and that's what you use for reapplication on the frame later on. So this one being a white frame back, it's very hard to see.
Is that why it's lighter in color?
Yeah. See, well, that white,
Oh, okay.
that's a super
That's-
frame.
Okay. That's not them. That's what
Nope.
was added to start.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's the foundation.
So to save them some work, would you recommend you just uncap it rather than completely remove it off the base?
So that is the process side of what we do is, let's say this was all fully capped honey. I would take my hot knife and go take it off. It gets dropped into a screen in a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Then I do the other side. Do the same thing. I stick it in my spinner. I spin out the wax, or the honey rather, and then I put the frame right back in. Oh, one got me, but it didn't. Now, when you put your frames back in here, you want them to be tight, but equal distance on either side. If you don't, you'll grab that, please. If you don't, you're going to find they're going to build up one side more than the other. They might build up this whole side and you're barely able to get it out. So it's better just to keep it in the middle. Give yourself a working spot. So I'm going to fill the oil, and once I do not spill this on the bees. I usually do this outside. I'm going to pair it toward just a little bit inside. You will kill the bee. Do it out here and do the thing, because if you go to pop it out and dump it, you'll kill a bunch of the bees. So if you want to go ahead and you want to release the queen in your hand, or if you want to release the queen on here and then let her go, it's your choice. Keeping in mind, she left a lot of pheromones on her too, so the other bees are going to want to keep going back to the clip. And always make sure you saw her go right on in.
To put her like
She'll
over.
go. She'll go. Give a shake if you want.
Elena,
Yes.
I have to start heading out soon so she makes it in time for work.
Okay.
There you go. There she goes, now inside. I'm going to pop this back on. It didn't have to smoke because there wasn't a whole lot up there. So that's into place.
Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed that video. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and help us to grow. Like that video and ring the bell so you get notifications when we produce more videos. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.